Hey folks, welcome back to kaoticTV's selected games from Dreamhack Winter 2012. This is from Group D. Game 2 between these two players. In the bottom left we have the Red Terran playing for Team Evil Genius. He is Thorzane.
And spawning across the map of Cloud Kingdom, we see the Blue Zerg player currently up 1-0 in this series. It is TeamLiquid's Ret.
Very strong macro play from Ret after he was able to hold off that early aggression from Thorzane. The mech play was a good idea. It's a pretty decent and powerful composition once you can get it to max, but if you're able to pick it apart before he gets to max, you have a pretty good chance of winning against mech. So it's very strong, but also has very profound weaknesses. Yeah,
Ret did a really good job, both in spreading his creep out once he broke out of his contain, and as well and keeping his macro going. He was up to 5 bases by the time the game ended, and he just did like one of the oldest counters to meching Terran, which is roaches and drops. Just really exploits the immobility of the mech army.
And he had the counter attack going out right behind that that main drop in Thorzane's base, as well as. But it was kind of interesting because he left all of his overlords out.
Yeah. Once you get that kind of a successful drop, pulling the army in, the little counterattack is a third. After that, he got a couple of production facilities. Thorzane's army was just spread too thin to defend anymore. So.
Yeah, and Red had 5 bases chunking out roaches, and he was remaxed right as that main drop was defeated.
Mission accomplished as far as the Zerg's concerned. Here we do see Thorzane going Command Center first. He's going to try to match Ret's economy, and I think as soon as Ret sees this, he'll respond with a third hatch really fast.
You see the spawning pool after hatch first, and I would love to see some gas and speedlings coming out, but since he's already put down that spawning pool, I don't think we'll see that.
Yeah, with only one gas coming behind this, I would guess possibly reactor Italians to kind of get some map presence for Thorzane.
We do see the gas coming down, as you say. Do you think it's really beneficial to wall off after you already have a command center down there?
It is. If anything really crazy happens, you can either take the natural as a loss and save your main base, or possibly, even if you see it in far enough time, get the SCVs behind the wall and lift the command center.
Wow, touche. We see, and the supply block is being lifted right now at the completion of this command center for Thorzane. He's continuing this heavy SCV production once his orbital command is finished, and he's getting a couple of Marines out, and I think he'll probably drop a bunker.
Yeah, here we see him just get to 100 gas, so we'll probably see the first factory drop down pretty soon here.
And we see it popped right there, and we'll see a tech lab fall, I think. Or a reactor, as you say.
A reactor. He just doesn't have the gas to support a tech lab or any kind of tech units. He only has enough for the. He doesn't have enough for the reactor just yet. He's going to make it now.
And the second orbital command is finished, and the economy is really going to start shooting up for Thorzane once he gets his SCV count up.
Yeah. Here we see the second gas coming in. I wouldn't be surprised to see after the few reactor battalions come out, 2 more factories going to that 3-type factory play.
We see. I thought that drone was going to go build a third hatch.
Nope, not just yet. He wants to make sure he's safer here. Taking both gases at the natural and none on the main, this is going to be kind of a bluff towards 2 base, I think.
I guess
the Hellions are going to get in and see this, most likely. They might stop.
See a tech lab coming down from Thorzane, and he's going to get a Banshee or 2. No third gas, though, so we won't see Cloak. We'll just see straight-up Banshees. But we do see the third hatchery coming down from Ret, but we don't see any other tech buildings. We don't see an evolution chamber or a roach warren coming down, so he is going for that pure drone count with 4 queens for heavy creep spread.
Yeah. Like I said, that would, another thing he could have done to hint towards the 2-base play, but he hadn't seen any units from Thorzane yet. He could have dropped a evolution chamber with queen wall right at that choke point, and that really makes the Terran player think that you're going on 2-base, like Mutalisk or 2-base Infestor. But No such mind games coming out of this game.
We do see an evolution chamber wall coming down, and 3 Hellions poking at this third base of Liquid Ret. And the number of Zerglings coming out will be able to surround this if he actually had speed, but he doesn't as of yet. It does take forever for Hellions to actually kill a building, so he's not too fretty about it. He can even spread his creep while he's waiting.
He could probably wait for the queens to pop out of that hatchery to defend it after the kill bases. Yeah, he builds these evo chambers in the walls in response to seeing the Hellions. At the same time, he wanted them to get the upgrades going. We do see Cloak coming out of Thorazane, as well as the third base being built at the third base position instead of the position inside of his main to float down later.
So he knows he has plenty of time before Ret does any serious pressure, but when Ret does the serious pressure, it will be serious pressure. Ret being supply blocked, having lost an Overlord.
And here he's caught wind of this this build. Either he knows it's coming. Oh, he did see the Banshee out there, or flying over creeps. So he's got spore crawlers rather, coming down.
Oh, we do have Cloak coming in. Although it's interesting to choose that when he's got queens, then you're going for a ground push at the same time. Having Cloak is rather interesting. A huge number of Zerglings coming in to do a crazy surround, and they are going to get it, but there's some crazy micro from freaking Thorazane, and he just roasts the majority of them, and the rest run for their lives. Takes out a queen as well, and I do believe this hatchery will fall.
And really interesting.
Single transfuse ready. 2 Banshees, and they staying right out of range of this spore crawler, but this hatchery will fall, and I think Thorazane will take the definite economic lead at the time of this falling. Wow, I kind of want Ret to just commit and surround these things. There he goes, he's doing it. Taking out 1, 2 Hellions, but all of the Zerglings die, and these Banshees continue to attack. Not a single transfuse lands on that hatchery, and it has only 10 hits. Come on, take it out. Snipe it, snipe it, snipe it. There we go. And the third is finally fallen.
We see Thorazane following up these Cloak Banshees with a Raven. I like that. That'll help him be able to control creep without having to spend his scans that he could be using on economy. As well as 3 more factories coming out, vehicle weapons and vehicle plating, both being upgraded, as well as Infernal Preigniter just finishing.
Alright, Thorazane is definitely taking the lead in this, but we will see another hatchery dropped as soon as Ret has 300, which is right now.
At the same time, looks like Thorazane wants to play with Zerglings. He's going melee upgrades instead of ranged upgrades. Dropping an Infestation Pit. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to Hive just to get Adrenal Glands to deal with the mech army's immobility.
I would love to see Adrenal Glands come out. Very many Tier 1 units don't. They get to 3-3, but they forget those all-important Adrenal Glands, and sometimes even Tunneling Claws is very efficient at doing some counterattacking, or at least some movement while regenning health, which is a subtle but very important feature of Tunneling Claws.
Here we see the Raven coming out, just starting to clear the creep out of the middle of the map. Some queens come out and threaten them all off.
We see a lot of Zerglings that had stopped the mining for a second at Thorazane's third by just chasing out all of the mining units, but they had enough time to get back even with all those mules. And a bunch of SCVs are trying to jump off the cliff because of the wall in.
We do have Ret going now for Investor Tech. He's got Pathogen Glands upgrading. He has 7 Investors set to pop out with enough energy for bungles, as well as the Roach Horn coming up, so he'll be able to transition into the Infestor Roach type mid-game play for the Zerg.
And he better do it quickly. I think he's on borrowed time right now. The second that Thorazane feels like getting a little frisky, which may just be right now, Ret will be in a little bit of trouble.
Thorazane left the front door open on his natural, and Zerglings came in and just cleaned house on all the SCVs in there.
Wow, 27 workers killed. That was a huge blow to Thorazane, bringing Ret back up into the middle, or even up with Thorazane's supply at least, although the Harvester count is 52 for Thorazane and 65 for Ret.
Looks like he's just now getting Infernal Preigniter. Either I saw that wrong in the production tab earlier, or he cancelled it for some reason. I'm guessing I saw it wrong. I must have mistaken vehicle weapons for Infernal Preigniter just glancing at it.
Yeah, the colors do throw you. And another reactor coming down on a factory. So we have 3 tech labs and we'll have another reactor. So the siege tanks are starting to pump out, and we'll see some more Hellions to keep up the pressure. Tons of infestors out for right now for Liquid Ret, and Glio reconstruction coming down for roach speed, and 7 roaches on their way, making them the only roaches on the map right now, but it's hinting that he wants to build a lot more.
Yeah, he'll be able to max really quickly on roaches. He already has his infestor numbers to a solid point where he can just back up his roach army with that infestor tech. But he's played this really smart, getting those infestors up first to get their energy building, and then using his gas for some more roach type upgrades after that.
Red's creep has been thoroughly denied by Thorzane's Raven Banshee combo, although with that counterattack he had to pull everything home, so the creep is starting to spread out again. Ret doing very well at keeping that up. Big push coming out from Thorzane's base. He's bringing everything he's got. Everything's 1-2 with similar but not completely even from Ret. Wow, a lot of infestors taking heavy damage right now, being targeted fired by these tanks. Well, not so much anymore. Huge number of infested Terrans coming down to take out those Banshees. And they are all falling, but the Thor is going to be unable to get away if he's target fired, but he goes for the tanks instead, and Thorzane takes a pretty commanding army lead right now.
Yeah, those siege tanks they did their work in that fight. They killed all the roaches, all the infested Terrans. Actually, the Blue Flame Hellions came in from behind and took care of a lot of those infested Terrans.
This 4th base is under serious threat from Thorzane with the siege up. On the high ground with the ledge, Ret is going to have to do some amazing flanking or just go in, barreling in straight. I think Thorzane's going to be able to take this with a huge clump. The tanks are doing some tremendous siege damage, and he just taps out with the GG. So that was game 2 between Thorzane and Ret. We're going to see who takes the tiebreaker in game 3 and moves on in the recent Dreamhack Winter Group D play. So from kaoticTV, I'm Chaotic.
This is Eclipse.
And we will see you in just a second. Cheers.